spent a lot of time in Emerald Forest, you might recognize where I am. I am in the white-fronted marmosets habitat here in Emerald Forest in Primate Panorama. Today is Monday. I think we all need sometimes a check of the day. And this is Denver Zoo's Zoo View Virtual Safari. We have a couple people joining. I'm going to keep waiting for more and more people to join before we really get started, because today is going to be really fun. Because like I said, we are with the white-fronted marmosets, also known as Geoffrey's marmosets, and we're going to be weighing them, giving them enrichment, and answering your questions about them with the help of our keeper, Katie. So I also want to let you all know that we're partnering with Visit Denver today. They're running a great trivia contest, and they're going to be giving away a family 4-pack membership, a family membership to Denver Zoo. So you can find out that trivia question and answer it over on their page. We'll link it in the comments. But thank you to Visit Denver for sponsoring that giveaway. So let's get started with Katie. You can see we have quite a few people joining. Hi, Abby. Hi, Christina. Hi, Amanda. So this is Katie. So tell us a little bit about these guys.
So we have 5 white-fronted marmosets in this exhibit. We have a dad named Groot and his 4 babies. So Groot is about 8 years old, and then his young some of them are 4 years old, and then we have one that's 3. So 3 males and 2 females in here. So like I said, dad's name is Groot, and then the young ones are named Aubree, Rocket, Drax, and Delta. So we got some Guardians of the Galaxy names in here if anyone's a Marvel fan.
Very cool.
So what we're going to try to do today is get some weights on the marmosets. They are a somewhat difficult group to weigh, and that is because there are 5 of them, and we do have a pretty strong dominance structure in here. So Aubree, who is one of the young marmosets, that's him over there, is dominant over all of the others, including his dad. So occasionally, when we do things like weighing, he gets a little possessive of the treats that we're going to give. What I've got here today are some grapes, and then I also have some other fruits. We've got blueberries, raspberries, all sorts of different things, and you can see they're ready to go. So.
All right, so I'm going to let Katie go over. She's going to step over by that scale. So she might be hard to hear from over there, so I will try to both ask her your questions and repeat back her answers. So she is asking the marmosets to come sit on the scale so we can get a weight from them. So who is that you're working with right now?
Aubree, so he's the dominant male.
So Aubree is going first. He's the dominant male, and the hope is if he does it, all 4 of the others will. So it's a very quick process. You saw Aubree was just on there for a quick second, but we did get the weight, Katie?
Yes, we did. So that was Aubree. This is Rocket.
This is Rocket, who's on the scale right now.
Good job.
Quickly got Rocket's weight. Rocket is a boy. Thank you for donating, Mark. Fernanda is 8, and she wants to know what the lifespan of the marmoset is.
So that was Drax. And what I'm doing is writing their weights down on a sticky note on the scale.
So we're going to ask Katie's questions after she's done weighing. She's really got to focus to make sure she can get that number, remember it, and write it down. So we will get to the questions like what their favorite food is. Lily, hi, she watches every day. Lily, they love fruit of all kind. They like nuts, they like bugs, and they also get a primate meat here. So they like a lot of different foods, and they're very food motivated. So they like a lot of stuff. Berries, pears, pine nuts, crickets, waxworms. It's a lot.
All we're missing now is Groot.
So we just need Groot to come down. Jackson, age 10. Groot is he's wondering how old they are. Groot is 8 years old. He's the dad. Rocket, Aubree, and Delta are 4, and then Drax is the youngest. She is 3. Abby's wondering if the monkeys from the movie Rio are based off white-fronted marmosets.
Oh my gosh, well, I feel really silly because I actually have not seen the movie.
That's a pretty good, well, Abby, that's a pretty good guess. We actually can't answer that for sure, but the native habitat of these marmosets is in southeastern Brazil, so that's not a bad guess. It might be a bit of an inspiration or an amalgamation. Fernanda's wondering what the lifespan of a white-fronted marmoset is.
Sure, so it's different depending on whether these guys are in the wild or in captivity. So a wild marmoset would live to be about 10 years old. Here in captivity, they live a
All right, so Fernanda, I'm just gonna repeat that for you. In the wild, it's about 10, but under human care, they can live a lot longer into their late teens.
I'm not sure if Groot's gonna come down. But we got 4 out of 5, so that's actually
That's probably a pretty good day. Rhea wants to know how you can tell the difference between them.
Well, I'll tell you, it's very difficult. So when I started working here, they all looked the same to me. When you're new, you can use things like the length of their tails, their weights. So Rocket, for example, is a little larger than the others. That's a good way to tell them apart. Once I've worked with them longer, though, I really go by their faces. So just like people, their faces all look unique. And when you don't know them very well, it's kind of hard to tell. But once you get to know them, you can see pretty quickly. So it takes a lot of time and a lot of studying to learn. We can also look at their colors, their patterns of their fur, all sorts of different things.
So Rhea, to answer your question, it really just takes a lot of time and working with these guys to identify the different features in their faces, the different patterns of their fur, their sizes. So if you just visit once or twice, you probably won't be able to tell the difference between them, but when you work with them day in and day out like our keepers do, you definitely start to be able to tell the difference between them. Hi Cami, these guys live in the Emerald Forest habitat of Primate Panorama. It's that big building across from the flamingo pond. You'll walk through it, you'll see lemurs and tamarins and marmosets and eye. It is such a fun habitat. Let's see. Teresa wants to know how they're doing today. What's their personality? What's their mood like?
They're seeming pretty normal today. So usually when I come in first thing in the morning, they're just sort of waking up. They are diurnal, which means that they sleep at night and are awake during the day. So they're acting pretty typical for what they normally do. Typically, Omi, the dominant male, is the one that you're going to see first. He's usually the one that comes down to the branches to greet me. The 2 females and Dad, Groot, usually stay a little higher up, unless Omi and Rocket are out of the way. So kind of an answer to the previous question, that's another way you can identify them pretty quickly is from their personalities as well. So the dominant males will always be close by, and the more subordinate ones will usually be up a little higher.
Luke wants to know why we weigh them before feeding them. So explain that that's just kind of a reward and a treat.
Right, so it's just like any other type of training. So we use what we call positive reinforcement training here at the zoo, and what that means is if the marmosets do a behavior correctly, they're going to get a reward. And I don't know if you could hear, but when they came onto the scale, I would whistle, and the whistle is a sign that they've done the correct behavior. So it's sort of similar to clicker training, if anyone does that with their dogs. We can use a clicker here as well. The whistle is kind of a good way to do it so I can have both of my hands free to write down weights and give them treats. And we usually weigh these guys once every other week, so we like to keep a pretty consistent watch on how much they all are weighing.
But Luke, if you're wondering, they will always get fed whether or not they participate in things like trainings and getting their weights. That's just an extra treat that they know they'll get if they do it. So it's something we know they really want and they'll really like. Aiden, age 12, says, why do they have such a long tail? It's almost as long as their whole body.
It is. So the tail helps them balance. So these guys live up in the trees, as you can see. And they're jumping from branch to branch, and the tail is something really good to help them balance when they're jumping. The tail does not move on its own. Some primates have what are called prehensile tails, which means that tail can almost act like an arm and grab. These monkeys do not have prehensile tails, but it's really, really helpful for them when they're moving from branch to branch.
Rory is 5, and they want to know how much do they eat in a day?
So they get a metal bowl about this big 3 times a day. I'm trying to remember exactly how much, but it's, I have the worst memory with measurements.
Well, they get their 3 square meals.
Yes, they get 3 meals a day, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I don't know if you can see, but we have some of lunch kind of left up here. This is a gel that we give them, so it's very nutritious for them, something they like. They also get veggies every single day. And in the wild, these guys eat gum as well. So plant gum, that's a substance that's inside of plants and trees, and we try to give them gum-like things here as well.
Lori's wondering if they can swim.
So my assumption would be not very well. To be honest, I've never really looked into that, but because they are tree-dwelling animals, most likely no, they would not swim. Could they if they needed to? Possibly, but it's not something that they would be doing during their normal day.
Lori's wondering if they ever fight.
Yes, they do. So because Omi and Rocket are more dominant, if the other three, the more subordinate three, try to come and take a piece of food that they want or play with an enrichment that they want, they can get a little aggressive with each other. Now, when I say aggressive, though, I don't mean that they physically hurt each other. So it's all safe and normal for them to have this dominant structure. So they might rough each other up a little bit, but it's never to the point where anybody gets injured.
Braden is 5. He's wondering if there's one who's most crazy.
Yeah, I would say that's probably Omi, who's the one right here. So yeah, because he's dominant, he's kind of the boss in here. And as a result, he can be very bold, even with the keepers. He's the one that sometimes will try to interact with us a little bit. So if you're not careful, you might have him grab it onto your hair, grab it onto your shirt, things like that when he gets impatient.
Hi, Annie. We do not have any breeding right now. Groot is the father of all of the ones in the habitat, so they're all related. So they would not make good breeding partners right now. Is this as big as they'll get? Are they full grown?
They are, yes.
So they hit that full grown size pretty early in life then?
Pretty early, yep. So they're sexually mature at about 1.5 years old, so throughout that time they'll be growing. So yeah, they grow up pretty quickly.
So if you're asking how big they are, or you kind of want to know a size, it's like a squirrel, a little longer tail.
Sure, yeah.
But very pretty, very soft looking. Luke wants to know what their predators are.
So predators in the wild are going to be birds of prey, so falcons, hawks, eagles, things like that. Snakes, especially with the young ones, can be a problem. And then felines, so jungle cats could definitely be a predator.
But they really have the advantage of being able to live in the trees, move
Yes.
really fast, jump from branch to branch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they'd be pretty tough to catch.
Lori, they are actually listed by the IUCN as of least concern.
Yes.
But it's been a while since they evaluated that population, so that information's a bit out of date, but we don't have any more current information than that. Julia's 10, she wants to know where they're native to. That would be southeastern Brazil. And I think Katie was gonna get some more enrichment
Yes.
to hang up for them, so I'll just keep showing you these guys right now.
Alright, we're gonna get a little crazy for the
Yes, so what do we have here before we just let them loose?
What I've got is their bugs. So they get some bugs every single day. So we have some waxworms in here, and then they also get a snack twice a week. So some sort of a food that they don't normally get. And today they're getting pine nuts. And I put these things in some little puzzle feeders. So they're going to have to reach through these holes and kind of figure these things out to get to their treats. I'm going to set this one down first so that Omi can have his share.
He's gonna go right for it. Parents and kids, let us know if you like waxworms and pine nuts for your afternoon snack. Can we assume that Drax, Rocket, Omi, and Delta were born here at Denver Zoo?
Yes.
So the kids were born here. Do we know about Groot?
You know, I'm not positive. That was something I forgot to look into.
No worries. We will try to find that out for you and answer that later in the comments. And again, if you're just joining us, their names are Groot. He's the dad. He's 8, and he is the father to the 4 other white-fronted marmosets, or Geoffrey's marmosets, that we have in here, and their names are Omi, Delta, Drax, and Rocket. Drax is 3, Omi, Delta, and Rocket are 4. Hi Bella, she's 12. Groot's mate actually passed away about 1.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So
Before my time.
it's just the dad and the 4 kids now. Hi Laura, yes, we are both in the habitat with them right now. We're wearing masks and gloves. I am giving my safe distance since they don't really know me, so I'm just trying to give them their space. But there they go, looking for those snacks. Is that Omi?
That's Rocket.
Oh, this is Rocket.
Yeah.
So he's getting some of his snacks, enjoying a little worm there. He's got one hanging out. Hi there. I've never seen their faces so close like this.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a fairly social group with the keepers. They definitely interact with us a fair amount.
So a really good insider tip, if you ever come to Denver Zoo and you come inside Emerald Forest and you can't see the smaller monkeys in their habitat, look up, because sometimes they can climb into the window area for some nice basking in the sun. Samantha's 11, she wants to know if they bite.
They can bite, yes. So we try not to get close enough to them where we're going to give them that opportunity unless we're doing training or we're hand feeding them. Most of them are fairly gentle. You know, the only one that ever gets a little bitey is Mr. Omi here. And like I said, it's because he's a dominant male. He even thinks he's dominant over us, and he likes to show us that. But for the most part, they're pretty gentle, and we don't really need to worry about biting. But just like with anything else, we always want to be mindful of that and be careful, just to make sure that we're not encouraging that from them.
Becca says this is her first time tuning into a live, so hello, Becca. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. So a lot of our animals, we talk about protected contact. What makes it okay and safe for us to be in the habitat with the animals?
So their size. So because they're so little, they could not do any damage to us that would be bad enough to where we couldn't come in with them. So usually we work protected contact with animals that are large enough or strong enough to potentially hurt us, whereas these guys are not. So we don't really need to worry as much about our safety in here with them, apart from, like we mentioned before, maybe bites, and we take a lot of protective measures to make sure that that doesn't happen. So we're very lucky to be able to get up a little bit closer to them than maybe we would some of our other primates.
And they're comfortable with us in their space as well.
Yep, they are.
Let's see. Zoe, age 8, she wants to know if they're nocturnal. Hi, Zoe. No, they are diurnal, just like us people. They're awake during the day, and they go to sleep at night. But across the way, right across the way is the II exhibit, and that is where they live, and they are nocturnal. So that's why we have that dimmed light in there for them to be really active. Owen is 8. He wants to know if they like to play with each other.
They do. So this is probably the most playful group that I take care of out of our marmosets and tamarins. Because they're a family group, they all, for the most part, get along very well, and they're very, very interested in enrichment. So really anything that we give them, I usually will find them playing with. So that makes my job as a keeper a lot of fun with them. I can try all sorts of different types of toys. And they absolutely do play with each other a fair amount.
Oh my gosh, they're really enjoying this. Hi, Aubree and Presley. Thanks for joining us for the first time. So what else do you like what do you like about working with this species?
Well, so they're a new species for me. This is the first time that I've gotten to work with them since I came to Denver Zoo. I think for me it's their personality and their charisma. Every single one of them is really, really unique. They all have very different personalities, and like I said, they're really fun to enrich. So they're really fun to make toys for, they're fun to feed. Because they're so food motivated and they like so many different things, I can get really creative with what I give them. And they're also a lot of fun to train, although it can be a little challenging because there's 5 of them. Sometimes training the less dominant ones can be a little difficult, but I like a challenge, so it's just been a fun learning experience for me working with them.
Let's see. Hi, Aubree and Presley. They're wondering what their favorite foods are.
Very favorite, I would probably say, is grapes. For the fruit, they absolutely love the grapes, and then bugs of any sort. So worms, crickets, things like that, they absolutely love.
Ooh, boy. So if you're wondering, there's a really good look at one of their tails.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know which one that is?
That's Omi.
That's Omi. So if anyone's kind of close to the camera, it's usually going to probably be Omi because he's very curious and he's dominant. What other behaviors have we trained them for? We always talk about how training behaviors is really to help them with their own health care.
Yeah.
So things like vaccines, weight checks, teeth checks. What else are they trained for?
Yeah, so they do a great job with the scale. That's one of their main behaviors. They are also what we call station trained and target trained. So what that means is we can hang little clips on these branches, and they are all trained to go to a specific clip. The nice thing about that is it allows us to get a really close-up look at them. And then recently we actually just completed a new behavior with them, so they will all shift in the back now. And what shifting means is when we open the door to their holding area, they will come back into their holding area. We can shut the door. They're rewarded in the back, and then while they're back there, we can clean their exhibit. So that's really something great that we can have all 5 of them going back there. It makes my job cleaning in here a whole lot easier. And that's something that we've very recently accomplished, so we're really, really proud of that. And like I said before, they are target trained as well, so we take a stick with a little ball at the end and we can hold it up, and they're going to touch that stick and that ball with their noses.
Do they ever go on the ground? Will we ever see them kind of down here on the floor?
You will. And actually, interestingly, since the zoo has been closed, I've seen it about twice as much as I usually do. So I think they're getting a little braver. So they tend to be up in the trees, but if we put things like enrichment and food on the ground, they absolutely will come down. And this is kind of the one group that I work with that does that fairly often now. So I've been having a lot of fun coming up with some new things to give them on the ground.
So, Katie, don't feel like you have to answer this, but Sherry's wondering who is your favorite and why, but I have to say it's a very controversial thing to ask keepers because they're like children.
Sherry's another keeper here, so very sneaky of her. My favorite in this group is probably Groot. I love them all, but Groot is this one here. He just has a really sweet personality, and just something about
Which one's Groot?
He just went over here,
Oh, okay.
and he has a scrunchy little face that I just think is really adorable. So it's hard to choose, but if I had to.
There you got your answer, Sherry. You asked the impossible question. Hi, Zoe. She wants to know how fast they are. I don't know if we have like a miles per hour speed.
I'm not sure miles per hour.
But they're very quick.
Yeah, very, very quick.
And they're very confident. Do they ever fall? Do they ever miss a branch?
You know, not that I see too often, no. They do. I mean, I'm sure they do. But no, for the most part, they really do a good job of running around in the branches. And yeah, they're very quick. Like, for example, when I'm weighing them, I have to get that number down real fast because they will just jump on and off that scale lightning fast. So that's kind of what makes it a challenge.
Katie has a good question. She's wondering if Groot would ever get another breeding recommendation, or are they a monogamous animal that really wouldn't want to mate again?
Well, so they're not typically monogamous. Out in the wild, what they'll do is they live in groups of anywhere from 5 to 10. And there are usually several mated pairs, but there does tend to be a dominant female that will be the one that breeds primarily. But you know, yeah, there could be a possibility down the line. We haven't heard anything at all about bringing in a new female for Groot. So at the moment, it's not something that we're looking to do. So I'm not really too sure down the line what we would be planning on doing with them, but we'll just have to see.
So that answers the question. They're a pretty social animal,
Yes.
social species.
Yes, very much so.
What makes them different from other small monkey species we have, like tamarins?
So I actually just recently looked this up. So the difference between marmosets and tamarins is actually their jawbone. So apparently marmosets have a more V-shaped jawbone and tamarins have a more U-shaped jawbone, which is something I learned today. I wasn't actually sure of that. But if you are to just look at them, they look and act very, very similarly. Between these marmosets and the tamarins that we have here, they're very similar. So caring for them is very much the same as caring for a group of tamarins.
Yeah, there we go. So someone's wondering, Madeline is just tuning in with her dad, Jason, and she wants to know about the predators question.
Sure, so predators would mainly be birds of prey, snakes, and cats. So things maybe like ocelots, jaguars, things like that.
When you're this small, there's a lot of things that could prey on you. Mm-hmm. Ruby is 4, and she wants to know where they go potty.
They go potty everywhere, so especially these guys. I would say they're probably the messiest animal that I take care of here. So when I clean in here, I have to clean everything. I clean the floors, the shelves, the branches. They go potty wherever they want.
Yes.
They do tend to have kind of a favorite area. They usually go over here a little bit more, but that's because their favorite spot to hang out is this branch up here. So.
Interesting. We'll take a few more questions. But always make sure to go check in the comments because I'm sure we've answered a lot by now. Jason says, thank you for answering. It's a very common question. People are always curious about the bathroom habits of our animals, so it's totally fair. It's a scientific question. Do they make any sounds, Zoe wants to know?
Yes, so they're very, very vocal. You may have heard them even during this video. So they have many different types of chirps, screeches, sounds that I could not identify if I tried. So they'll make sounds to communicate with each other, to express alarm, to express contentment, all sorts of different things. So it's essentially a language, just like what we have.
So yeah, someone asked earlier if they talk. Yes, to each other, but it's nothing that we can understand. Lori has a follow-up to the potty question. She says, have they ever peed on the keepers?
It happened to me right before we started this video.
Yes, it did. That's why I'm standing somewhere where they cannot go above me.
Yes, fairly often, yes.
So here's a pretty close look. Who are we looking at?
That is Delta.
So she's one of our females.
Yes.
This is Delta. She has a little sister named Drax.
Yes.
So for all the Guardians of the Galaxy fans out there, these are for you. All right, let's see. I'm looking for any more questions. Oh, Alex is 3, and he has a great question. Do they have any teeth?
Yes, they do. They have very, very sharp little teeth, and they're specially adapted to eat bugs and get that gum that I was talking about out of trees and plants. So very, very sharp, very pointy little teeth. But their overall dentition is going to be somewhat similar to us. They're going to have things like canines, incisors, molars. Those canines are going to be just a little bit sharper than they would be with us.
Do we know how many teeth they have?
I do not know. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, well, you have stumped the keeper, Alex,
Yeah,
so way
true.
to go. Thank you to everyone who's donated. We're going to wrap this up just with a little last few questions and just a little more look at these guys. The Geoffrey's Marmosets, also known as the white-fronted marmosets. We are in Emerald Forest. That's an indoor habitat here in Primate Panorama at Denver Zoo. Thank you so much for joining us for this virtual safari. A special thanks to Visit Denver, who we've partnered with today. If you answer their trivia question that we've linked in the comments, you could win a membership to Denver Zoo. So thank you so much to them for partnering with us right now. Thank you to everyone who's watched and had some great questions. If you've missed any of the questions or want to rewatch this later, it will be on our YouTube page. You can just search Denver Zoo on YouTube or go to our website, denverzoo.org/zoo2you for all of your virtual safaris that you might have missed and plenty of educational, fun resources for parents to do at home with their kids. We appreciate your support so much, and so we just want to say thank you, and we're signing off. So who are we looking at? Who's saying bye to us right now?
So this is Rocket on the left. Someone just ran away, and that's Delta there.
So
Rocket, Delta.
Rocket and Delta, now just Delta, are saying have a great day. Thank you so much for joining us. And a reminder, tomorrow's live is early. It's at 10 a.m. We have a very special guest, so join us at 10 a.m. for tomorrow's Zoo to You virtual safari. Thanks so much, everyone.